Hey everybody, this is Curtis with the RV Returners here with another video for you today. This is a deck tech profile on the deck that I would play if I was going to Portland. Obviously not going. It costs a little too much to fly over there, especially for Virginia, so it's just not something that's going to happen. But let's kind of go into it. So the deck that I would be playing is a variant off of Earth Wind. It's a much more control-based version of it, and this is something that I've been playing for quite a bit. Put a lot of testing into, and it's something that I enjoy playing myself. I also been playing this in the U.S. Octagon Open tournament that I was recently a part of, and it's been performing pretty well. But let's kind of go into it and kind of explain what goes on here. So the main combo of the deck is actually Galdus and Luminous Puma. It gives this deck a lot of mileage in what it's trying to do. Now, the inspiration of that was actually born out of Tampa, and it's an idea that I've been toying around with, but after seeing it kind of being showcased in Okamoto's list, it's kind of where I kind of took it and ran with it and put it in this build. I usually like playing multicolor decks, especially with the Urianger and the Phoenixes and things like that, but just for some reason when I play Earth Wind, adding those extra colors, it just does not work for me. I end up drawing my Phoenixes super early, and it just becomes a hindrance instead of an added value. So I wanted to build something that was Earth Wind, but at the same time had that Galdus Luminous Puma loop, just because it just works the best in Earth Wind, in my opinion. And I also wanted something that was pretty consistent and very simple, so something that I could not worry about color fixing or things of that issue and just kind of play the game how I wanted to play. So if you don't know what the loop does, basically what it is you have Galdus and Luminous Puma on the board. Whenever Galdus would die, you activate Puma's effect, you get back a forward or a backup, and then when Galdus dies, he triggers, and you get a monster back, which in this case is going to be Luminous Puma. And then the following turn, you would play Luminous Puma, you get back the Galdus, and you just rinse and repeat. And you just basically keep on doing that, and then every time you do that loop, you're going to get a card back at least. Off of the second activation of the Puma. So looking at the list, the cards that you would want to spam out of this combo are going to be, in most situations, 3 CP Zidane. It's also going to be Moogle 11 and Riku. So what Zidane does, if you don't know, when you play him and he enters the board, you look at your opponent's hand and you take one card out and you discard that card. And if your opponent has 2 cards or less, Zidane gains 4,000 power. So this card is automatically very good, and I think we all know how annoying this card can be, especially if you played against any like Wind-Water decks or Earth-Wind decks. Them looking into your hand is really intrusive, and it actually kind of tilts me a lot whenever they play Zidane, because it's really annoying when they kind of look at your entire hand and just be like, okay, I'm going to pick this and get rid of it. But basically, you get to do that to your opponent, however times you want to, out of the Puma loop, or how many times they allow Zidane to die. So if you're playing against someone that knows what's happening, it's going to put them in a really weird situation, because you can be really aggressive with the Zidanes and swing in, and if they don't want it to die and they're not going to chump block it, they might just take a point of damage. And at that point, that's beneficial for you, the player doing this, so that way you can actually win the game faster, because I think we all know if you get 7 points of damage, you win. But in this situation here, you basically keep on playing Zidane, and you keep on swinging in, and if they chump block it, then you just play it again with the Puma loop, and you just keep on ripping cards out their hand, or you always know what's going to be in their hand when you do this combo. Another really good thing to do, and if you don't have all the other pieces that you need, you can also use this loop for Moogle 11. Basically, what you do in this situation is if you have an active Moogle 11 already and a Moogle 11 in your break zone, you just basically search for any card that you need for that given situation when you activate Puma. So in this case, if they got, a 5-drop on the board that you need to kill, you get, Diabolos. If they're trying to hold up with one super sticky forward, you get Veritas. So there's a lot of things that you can use, obviously, and this is the definition of versatility. You get any card in your deck, and, obviously that's going to be super good to recycle if you have the capabilities to do so. Another super good card that you're going to be recycling is Riku as well. So this automatically kind of sets this aside from standard Earth Wind lists, just because a lot of them don't really run the Riku in the first place. However, I think Riku is very instrumental in a lot of matchups, especially the really grindy ones or the really control-based matchups, especially against like water as well. Basically, if you don't die, you'll win if you deck them out. And with all the drawing that's going on in this meta, that's super, super, super good. So you're going to be using this Riku to kind of accelerate the game and basically set up a wall, and then you just mill them out 2 cards per turn, or at least anytime you use Puma and get it back with Gyarados. So it just gives you a lot of options to kind of put the game in your favor. There's a couple of other tech picks that I run personally that I use for Puma as well. So this is kind of like all the one-ofs I kind of play in this deck. So one of them is going to be Archangel TT. This is a card that not many people are kind of opting to play, but I think it's actually a super good card depending on the situation. It's basically 2 CP forward. When you play Archangel and he enters the board, you choose 1 dull forward the opponent controls, and at the end of their next turn, you break it. So it's basically a really good, cheap option for anything early or, mid-game or even late game if they're kind of swinging. So if they got that Cloud of Darkness and you don't really have any Diabolos to deal with it or anything like that, and you got this in your break zone, you can pop the Puma, get this back, play it, and now it's going to die. If they have Garland in the early game, and that's obviously really annoying to deal with, and you're trying to build up backups, so you're not really playing forwards, or if you have one, you're choosing to dull that one, and they're swinging in with Garland, you just respond with Archangel next turn, and you basically make their Garland null or void. And whenever they try to swing in, you just chump block with this card, and it's your even trade-off. You're paying 2 CP to kill something, which is really, really good, and most times they're not going to be able to get around it. Another card that you're going to be getting back is Adele, and this card obviously closes out games, especially late game. You pop the Puma, get Adele, put that back onto the board, you make it unblockable, and you just swing for game. Or if they have been using removal on all your other cards, and if they can't kill the Adele, then you put them on a counter, and basically they're going to die if they just cannot answer the Adele. And the other main tech choice that I'm playing in this build is going to be the 3-drop Delita. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the game. I love Final Fantasy Tactics, and I actually like this card a lot for some reason. Don't really know why, but I feel like he works very well in this variant, especially with the card choices that I'm playing. So with Delita, when he enters the board, you choose 1 forward your opponent controls. You may put one of your forwards of the same cost that you picked, other than Delita, into the break zone, and if you do so, you break the chosen forward. So with this build here, this lets you get rid of your Zidanes if they're choosing to take points of damage and you kind of want to play more Zidanes. You play this, get rid of your Zidane, get rid of a 3-drop, and then you're all good from there. You can also use this to accelerate the loop with Puma and target your own Gyarados and kill a 3-drop of theirs. Use Puma's effect, get back a card, and then Gyarados activates, you get back Puma. So you could just basically do the loop and get rid of a card at the same time. Other cards that you can get rid of in this build that I play are Windmill and Calbrena. And I think that both cards are super good in this meta just because of Veritas kind of going around and rampaging everything here. You don't care if they die, so it's a perfect target for Delita. And a lot of times 4-drops are played pretty commonly in the meta. And when you have sticky forwards like Windmill and Calbrena in the first place, sure, they might use removal to get rid of that so you can't kill their guy, but at the same time, you're not losing anything because they'll come back. And if they don't get rid of it, then you'll still, plus in this situation, get back that forward that you just sacked, and now they'll lose their guy. With Calbrena, I think we all know how much I like that card. I made the Great Meta Call video for this, kind of explaining the applications and the reason why it's pretty good in this meta right now. If you haven't watched that video already, just check the link, and we'll put the link up here. So just click on that if you haven't seen that already, and kind of get yourself familiar with what the card does and how it might work in this meta right now. But other than that, it's a pretty standard Earth-Wind build. You can still play the standard plan of Earth-Wind with the Dataluma Cactars, and you got the Cecils and the Calinot, things like that too. Star Silver works really well with Veritas. So you can pretty much play the same game plan there, and then you have that extra layer of control with the Gyarados Luma, Puma's Luma. I can't even talk right now. Luminous Puma Loop. So you can just kind of do that while you're doing the standard Earth-Wind plan. So it's pretty strong in that regards. But go ahead and give this deck a try if you're interested in playing it. It's worked pretty well for me. And if you have any ways to kind of improve the build, or any tech choices that you're choosing to play in this situation, just let us know. Comment, and we'll go ahead and test it ourselves. I probably will test it just because I'm still probably going to be playing this deck. But if you like the content, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. But thanks so much for watching, and if you are going to Portland, best of luck, and hopefully we'll see your list top. Have a great day.